Welcome to the 2021 East Coast Kubb Championship. We're in Havre de Grace, Maryland. Tournament is hosted by Old Line Kubb out of Maryland. I don't understand why it's Havre, Havre, Favre, Favre, but that's for much more intelligent people than me. We got a full field today, 32 teams, completely sold out, 16 pitches. There's Das Kubb out of North Carolina there. Those guys are getting warmed up. We've got a special treat, featured commentator today, Bob from Keystone Kubb. Bob, say hi. How's it going?
Pretty good, Drew. How you doing?
I'm doing the best I can, man. I can't complain. I can complain, but nobody's going to care. So.
I'm trying to keep cool out here. You know, it's a hot one today.
It's pretty steamy out. It's hotter than lots of things that I can't mention. I think everything that I know that starts out with hotter than can't be said on a food broadcast, but you know, it is what it is.
That's why it's a good thing we're at a brewery, you know?
That's right. Cool down, boys. So we're going to have coverage of 2 quarterfinal matches, both semifinal matches, and then the final. So we've got 5 episodes coming. We didn't cover the preliminary rounds like we did for the spring fling earlier this year because, frankly, I just biffed it. But what I'll say is the camera crew is union and they don't do on Saturdays.
What about the graphics department?
Graphics department barely works any day of the week. Those guys, I got no idea what they're doing. So these are the final standings. Top 8 made it to the championship bracket. Great Lakes Kubb undefeated on the day, and that's who we're going to see in the match today. Great Lakes Kubb is the number 1 seed against Ice Kubbs, a local team out of Maryland. They're the 8th seed. David versus Goliath here. Bob, who you got?
I got Great Lakes Kubb all day on this one. This is a really good top 8 we have here. We had a feeling that we were going to see 6 teams that we have in there. There was kind of 2 wild card spots up for grabs. We weren't sure who was going to slip into those last 2 seeds, and there's a lot of experienced players that, including yourself, Drew, that ended up in the silver bracket, and these 2 teams, Ice Kubbs and Here for the Beer, both slid in there, and the seeds are a little surprising as well. I mean, like I said, we had going into today, we just didn't know how those top 8 would stack out, but there's definitely some surprising in those top 8 seeds. But Great Lakes Kubb has been playing well all day.
They're
dominant. You said
they're
undefeated,
legends.
definitely.
Yeah. Undefeated. But Ice Kubbs playing in their first tournament, so good for them. 8th seed coming in as their first tournament and making the championship bracket. There were 2 teams that have never played in a tournament before who made it to the championship bracket. The other one, big shout out to them and a great showing, is Here for the Beer. They're a husband and wife team out of Raleigh. Great job to them. They are playing the, 3rd seed. So rooting for them.
Yeah, that was another interesting wrinkle, is if you were better off today going 1 or 3, the 2 seed has a tough matchup with Kubb Squirrels in the other quarterfinal, and that's surprising. It was a little surprising that Kraken Kubb got into that 2 seed. I mean, they're an experienced team. We've seen them a lot on the East Coast, but they're fairly unknown nationally. And, they had a good run to that 2nd seed, but man, tough matchup with the Kubb Squirrels right out the gate there in the quarterfinal.
Indeed. And I think they got that 2 seed because in, I don't know if it was the 6th round, 7th round, they played the Kubb Squirrels in the round robin and finished them off pretty quickly.
They 2-turned them. It was the 7th round. And I was at this. I'm the director of the tournament today, and I was at the scoring table. Those guys come back that quickly. I was like, "What's going on, boys? You have a question?" They were done. So it was like 5 minutes in. So, yeah.
But you got to keep in mind, it's always better to get 2-turned than 2-timed.
Yes. 100%.
So we've got Jeremy and JT on the Ice Kubbs. That is JT there trying to knock down some 8-meter shots. And picks one up.
Yeah, nice shot.
Ties it up early.
Yeah, that was their turn too. I think they started. So this is their first term of 6 batons, I believe. We were talking over the first turns there, but
that's all right. It happens.
It does.
Sometimes I don't pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know if this is we're backed by popular demand, Drew, but I mean this is our this is our second foray into the announcing. It's first time in 3 years. I mean, we haven't been back since the 2018 scuffle for the shovel.
Somewhere around there.
Was our debut as an announcing
What a lot of
team.
people don't realize is we've spent the last 3 years practicing our commentating. So expect big things today.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that Jeremy here, the thing on the back of his hat there, that is one of those neck guards so your neck doesn't get sunburn. It's not a mullet for all the mullet fans out there. It's a real shame. I think we need more mullets in Kubb.
Well, I mean, as an homage to Meatloaf himself. And we start right out the gate with a 3-person team here. So it's hard to gauge the Meatloaf.
No Meatloaf.
Yeah, no Meatloaf available. We got Phil Dickinson here throwing. So, Great Lakes Kubb is comprised of Phil Dickinson, Joe and J.R. Horatia. And, they have a club up there in northern Michigan. They're all phenomenal players. And they've been as hot as the weather today.
They have been very hot. Let's talk about the pitch conditions.
Definitely. Well, you would know more than
I would know.
I didn't play, so
I was out early. I lost early and often today, so I got that covered. The grass, I don't know what kind of grass it is. The only green thumb I ever got was from picking my nose, but the grass is thick, extremely thick and extremely long. Your drilling, it's very accepting on the drilling, but when it comes to blasting or picking off at 8 meters, you've got to be right on it, because that grass, as soon as it touches a baton, it's grabbing it and tumbling it. So you have to be very precise.
Well, I noticed this yesterday. We were out here playing friendlies, and we knew going into the tournament this morning, that we were going to have to address the grass issue a little bit, just to make sure we're clear. Like, if you hit a Kubb and it in normal circumstances would be down, if it goes over 45 degrees, you can confer with the other team, but basically we're going to call it down, especially if it gets hit. I mean, because this grass is the thickest grass I've ever played in.
Yeah,
and I didn't play in it today, but it grew last night because it rained yesterday.
Yeah, it's great to walk in without shoes on. It's like walking on clouds. Very fluffy stuff.
Yeah, nice double there.
Yep.
By Ice Kubbs, and they got a little work to do here to clear. That's a good one. That works.
Yep. Nice. Pressure.
Perfect.
Clear.
Yeah.
Pressure clear.
Very pressure clear there.
So did you ever have a mullet back in the day, Bob?
No, I was not a mullet guy. Now that I think we're on the same hair train, you and me, Drew. We're both
none
exactly.
Yeah.
No, never had a mullet.
The only train that's going in my hair these days is the hairline, and it's leaving the station headed backwards.
Me too. Back in the day, I used to rock a pretty wicked side part, but other than that.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Oh yeah.
I had the wave for a while, the long wave, like the skater bangs and stuff. And then I also, for a long time, I never had a full-fledged mullet, but I had a sweet rat tail for like 2 years or so.
Yeah.
And man, I was cool.
That's rat tail. That's straight out of the 80s, early 90s there.
Yeah, it was the 80s and early 90s. So there you go.
So that's J.R. Horatia here with a pretty nice drill, rocking the glove for this event, which so a lot of these top teams played in the East Coast Championship in North Carolina in November about 7-8 months ago, and they played in different configurations, but I don't remember these guys rocking gloves back then.
No, and these guys, they also played in the spring.
See, there's a good example. There's a good example of Kubb not going down. He hit that pretty solid and it just hung up. That should have been a 2-baton clear, and then it took him 4. It's unfortunate. Look, is Phil in the red zone here? Or does he still have one more? No, he's got 2 reds. One more. Yeah. Somehow we missed the corner, setting this camera up again. We were working on it earlier.
Again, it's the they got us amateurs setting it up. So
yeah. Just blame the graphics department.
yeah, those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would think $12 a day would be enough to do a good job, but no.
You would think.
No. As always,
So,
I do want to thank our graphic sponsor, which is Microsoft Paint. Their motto is "It's free." That's their whole motto. So yeah, they do a
100%.
great job.
Yeah, they do. I haven't
So
seen them meet yet.
Jeremy's doing the drilling right now. I wasn't paying attention earlier. I think he's been doing it the whole match,
I believe
but
so.
looks like we got 4 in play.
Yeah, we do have 4 in play. Yep, 4 in play.
If we can depend on the graphics department, we've got 4 in
Exactly.
play. But I saw those guys at the bar earlier at Hopkins Farm Brewery where we are. They were drinking some of the beer, so
Mm-hmm.
never can tell with those guys.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we end up with. You know. So all these matches are best of 3. So we will be playing at least 2 games. I wouldn't expect Great Lakes to have too much trouble here, but this is going on a little longer. I mean, days like today too, it can become a war of attrition. With the heat, like if you can get out of these matches in a timely manner, and save yourself and get out of the heat, get out of the sun, it can make a world of difference as you move through the bracket. So if we see teams can get through efficiently, it could be a factor as we get into semifinals and finals. And there's an advantage line, unfortunately.
Yep, and you're generally not going to last long against these guys. Great Lakes Kubb, whenever you give up an advantage.
No,
I can say that it is extremely hot out today, close to 90. Then you add in some humidity. Heat index is in the low to mid 90s. No cicadas though, so that's a good thing.
No, not here at the brewery.
No,
they were around.
I saw 1 or 2 today.
I heard them this morning when I left Joe's house. It sounded like the highway was right next to his house. They were so loud.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dumbest bugs you've ever seen too.
Oh,
nice.
Yep. There he goes.
2 shots at the king.
Nope.
Oh, nope.
No, he did miss that one.
All right. Now the pressure's
Phil's got to clean it up.
Zone.
Yeah. I was talking to Joe yesterday. He says he struggles with these advantage line shots to the back for whatever reason. It's probably mostly mental, but that's a good solid win there.
Yep. Fairly quick too, so good. They get back in the shade.
Exactly.
Maybe get a drink earlier. So Great Lakes Kubb, pretty solid stats there. 1 Kubb per baton, as I said in the last series. I don't know if that's good or not, but it seems kind of like the Mendoza line. But only 30% from 8 meters. But the big part was the advantage line. You give up an advantage line against these guys, they're gonna dominate. So Great Lakes Kubb now on an 8-game winning streak, all 7 preliminary rounds, and now into the quarterfinals. They won the first game.
They're going to need a little bit more than 30% there going forward. They could get away with that, a team like this, but some of these other teams have a lot of experience, and they're committed to winning today. So you're gonna have to do a little better than 30% going forward, but they got time.
They're wearing shoes today.
They are.
JR and what do you think about that? Do you think maybe they only do that in the South in North Carolina, or do you think maybe it just got in their head or something? But they went with the shoes today.
Well, the dynamic it's a little different here than North Carolina, as in if you want to go to the brewery, you're gonna need shoes on.
Oh, good idea.
I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the factor. I'm not sure.
Probably there was a sign on the brewery said no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Exactly.
And they said, I can't do that.
No, we better wear the shoes.
Yeah.
It was pretty wet out there this morning, so I don't know if that's a factor as well. Setting up the fields, the pitches today. I know my feet were soaked.
I tell you what, I went shoeless today for the first time playing Kubb ever.
You're like Joe Jackson.
Yeah, I am shoeless Drew Jackson. Yeah. And I tell you what, my feet were black when I was done because they were very dirty. But I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed it. Maybe it was just the grass was really nice. The only reason I really did it was because it was so hot. I didn't want to wear shoes, but it worked.
I hear you.
Ice Kubbs here. Straw. There they go.
Got it. Yeah, their field coup percentage just took a major hit there.
Yes, sir.
See if they can come by and get it there. Nice way to get an 8. You know, that's important. You gotta score.
Yep. Always have to be against a team like this. Number one, you can't give up any advantage lines. But 2, you have to hit some 8 meters just about every time.
Yes, you do.
Pitch behind this one. That is, it looks like Kubb Kachu, a team from Wisconsin and Michigan got together against Here for the Beer, which is the team I mentioned earlier, playing in their first tournament ever as the 6th seed. They're out of Raleigh, North Carolina. So yeah, we got people from all over. 32 teams.
So yeah, in the fall edition of the East Coast Championship, Joe and JR, they're playing right here with Great Lakes Kubb, played just together as Kubb snipers, and then Phil, who's playing with Joe and JR today, played with Jesse Frame, who's on Kubb Kachu in November. So Jesse and Phil got 2nd place. Joe and JR got 3rd. So they're all coming back to try to win this thing.
Good.
So Jesse teamed up with Adam Holtz from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, right outside of Eau Claire. And Adam had played in the spring tournament. I think we saw him in your spring tournament coverage down there in the spring.
He was playing with Lee and Jeremy out of Queen City Kubb.
Yes. All right. Looks like we got
Great Lakes Kubb picked up two baselines that last turn.
Yeah, that was a good turn. I think they would have had the 2 with 1 if I think JR airmailed the first one and then hit them both down with the second. And then they went 2 of 4 from 8s. It's a pretty decent drill. I think he's got something to work with.
Oh yeah. Well, I think these guys have been impressive. The team that I was playing on, I played on a team called Motley Kubb for this one, and we lost to the Ice Kubbs earlier in the day. And I was impressed. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah. I have not seen many teams play. This is the first time I've directed the tournament without playing it, and I thought going in I'd have all this free time.
Oh, nice double.
That was a great nice double. Great clear.
He went double, and that second one especially was that was filthy.
No, look at this.
And another 8 meter.
Oh, let's go Meatloaf. Come on now. Oh, he touched it.
Was that count?
No, it's not
down.
No, he touched it, but this thing crashed. You got to hit it harder than that, Drew. Almost Meatloafed it though.
That would have been solid with the filthy drill and then the Meatloaf. Oh, that one sailed a bit.
I think
that was pretty nasty though, right there.
I think we're gonna see some nasty blasties today.
You think so?
That's gonna happen. Especially, JR is a nasty blaster. That guy can hit some Kubbs, and with his drill, he's just been drilling on point all day from what I've seen. And again, I've only seen a few turns here and there. A lot of it's because I'm out taking pictures. It took about, I don't know, feels like 100, 200 pictures today at least, trying to get everyone on film. But he drills so well and blasts so well. We're gonna definitely see some nasty blasties out of him. There's no doubt in my mind.
I love watching him drill. It's just the same motion over and over, and he just fires them in there like a machine gun.
Pretty much. He just gets that rhythm going, and it's just like a metronome, man. It's like clockwork.
A metronome. That's a good way to put it.
It is just like he's a Swiss timepiece.
Yeah.
Ticking them off there, man.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
3?
Nice shot. I think so. Oh, it just caught the corner. If Joe can clean it up, nice shot. All right, we're in the red zone. Are we? Yep. Oh, he touched it.
Kissed the top of it. Kissed it. That was probably going down most tournaments, but
Yeah.
not this one with the long grass.
Out with this thick grass. Because it's not, I would say, I mean, this grass is not as long as it was in North Carolina when they didn't mow it
Yeah,
in the spring, but it is way thicker.
way thicker, and very grabby.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're playing, you can pull the pin.
Yep.
I know we played that in the spring in North Carolina, so that's why you see them after the cubes are raised, or we're pulling the center pin, which kind of satisfies some of the painted lined contingency of people that like the painted lines and don't like the pins. So we kind of get it both ways.
So Bob, 32 teams this year, which
Yeah,
is a record, completely
amazing.
sold out. You got to be pretty happy with that. You got to be pretty proud of what this tournament has become.
We had pretty high expectations for Maryland coming in. I mean, I don't. A lot of people don't really seem to. They're starting to understand the kind of East Coast Championship model that we put together here. But the goal is to kind of to move. We move the championship every other year. So every 2 years, we stay in one spot for 2 years. And so the goal is to kind of bring hopefully a bigger event, a little bit bigger name into a new area, and get them some experience. We and then all the money stays here so they can grow the game when we leave, and hopefully put an event in its place. This one, I was expecting. I thought we'd do well. I didn't expect to sell out this year. I was
Yep.
expecting that we'd sell out maybe next year, but now we're in position next year.
Thanks,
We're going to be able to support 64 teams. So
awesome.
I don't know that we'll get there, but
That's nice.
that was a nice clear.
That was a nice run, double, double, single. I'll go
Mm.
ahead and say that's a bit filthy. And
Yeah.
another 8-meter.
Yep. Let's see if he can get a meatloaf. I want a meatloaf, Drew.
Oh. There you go.
There's a meatloaf.
There you go. That's a
what I like
meatloaf.
to see.
Not
There he
only
is.
is that a meatloaf, that was a pretty filthy blast with going double, double, single. So you got the filthy blast, the meatloaf. That's a nasty meatloaf. Don't eat it. That meatloaf has more E. coli than egg salad at a summer picnic. Don't touch it.
For their first event, they're in their first championship quarterfinal. They're giving Great Lakes Kubb everything they can handle here in game 2.
Yeah, they are. They've been solid from 8 meters, and that blasting has been solid too.
I mean, that for a team like that, the keys, like you said, I think the drilling conditions are good. So and that's what we were happy about too. We were a little worried that it had been pretty much drought conditions here in Maryland for about a month going in. In the last week and a half, they just got drenched with rain. So it does help newer teams to be able to have better drilling conditions. But the other key is just not missing. Just even if you're just hitting singles as a new team, as long as you can keep making good contact, you're gonna get 8s, and if you can knock those down, you can make it interesting.
I always think the key when you're first starting out, the number one thing, you can't give advantage lines. And what do you need to do that? You need to practice your drilling. You need to practice your blasting. And then once you get past that and you're playing clean every game, you got to be able to hit 8 meters. Yep. And then I think it's just around and around from there. You get decent at drilling, you get decent at blasting, you get decent at 8 meters. Then you say, all right, I'm going to get my bunches closer with drilling. And you just keep working it around, those 3 things, one at a time.
Yeah, it's all about consistency at that point then. It's like, well, how can I minimize my mistakes and, be more efficient, more consistent? If you can do that, here, these guys, they just cleared in 4. They're not gonna win yet. But Phil's due.
Phil is an assassin from 8 meters.
He is. He is absolutely an assassin. Of course, Phil wrote multiple books on Kubb.
He did. I've read them. They're very good. Mastering Kubb was his first, and I bought that book off of Amazon and read it. It's looking into the mind of a Kubb player who's better than you are, and very helpful.
No doubt. I know. And then his second book is it Kubb Remastered?
I believe so, yeah.
And I think that one covers a lot of different practice techniques in drill. I know he used one of my drills in that book, which I was surprised, but I appreciate the mention in there. But no, yeah, they're great resources. You can pick those up at Phil's website, playyardgames.com, I believe. And you said you got it on Amazon?
Yeah, I bought mine on Amazon. I think, or Barnes and Noble, one of those. I mean, it was some place that was like that where, they could get it anywhere. So
yeah. So definitely worth a read, especially even if you're not new. I mean, you can always learn. There's always things to learn.
Yep. Looks like drills here. The drill here is a bit out of control.
Yeah, well, he violated the first rule of drilling. He hit
no wood on wood. Yeah. No wood on wood. Not good.
No, wood on wood is definitely not good. Whoa, I want to mess that up. He just violated it again.
Yeah.
But that's what you tend to see it so often, as you get more Kubbs in play with newer teams. The consistency just isn't quite there yet.
Yep.
So you see some a little bit wild on some of these Kubbs, and that can be all it takes. If you put some gaps here and there, your batons tend to find them, which is frustrating.
Especially when you got 8 in play. You kind of have to keep them pretty close together because you're going to be having to hit doubles and triples if you want to clear.
Yeah, and this is going to be, I think, the classic. This is what you do, what you expect as the 1 seed, especially in a tournament like this, where, like I said, we had 88 players, or have 88 players here today, but 51 of them are from Maryland, and most of those are in their first tournament. So, as an 18 main bracket, as the 1 seed, you're expecting a pretty easy match, but you're also expecting, you just get Kubbs in play and you'll probably get a line.
Yep.
And that's
now, all that being said, I think the Ice Kubbs have certainly held their own. They've had a great showing here.
Absolutely. There's no disrespect in the way they've played, and they've played phenomenally. Actually, they've exceeded my expectations.
I know I've played in some tournaments where they would have been right up there, where the the top teams weren't there. They would have been right up there. That's a nice double right there.
Yeah. Ooh, got the.
Yeah. So I think this might be the end of our broadcast for the day right here.
I believe so.
If it is, I'll remind everybody next week we're going to have another quarterfinal matchup. And then we will have the week after that semifinal number 1, the week after that semifinal number 2, and then the finals.
The next quarterfinal matchup, is that the Kraken Kubb Squirrels, the 2 versus 7?
Indeed it is. That one ought to be a beauty.
That one should be a beauty.
And think about that. You're talking about 2 seed down to 7 seed. I believe they had the same record on the day, and it was all just points. So that is how close it is once you get past Great Lakes Kubb.
Well, and the one thing we saw today, and what made it a challenge as far as directing the tournament, was with a lot of new and inexperienced teams, a lot of those bracket rounds went to ties. And so they were all going to ties. And so that's where you start to see, the opponent's score really comes into play and can differentiate. So.
Oh, there's a miss. Wasn't expecting that.
No, I think Phil's going to try to clean this one up here. There it is. And then Joe for the king. There it is.
That's going to end it. Great Lakes Kubb advances to the semifinals as the number 1 seed. Great showing by the Ice Kubbs. I thought it was great showing by Great Lakes Kubb. I thought everybody played well, actually.
Definitely, no doubt.
And so congratulations to Great Lakes Kubb. They win the match 2-0. We'll have some stats here in a second.
And for Ice Kubbs to finish T5.
Yeah, solid. So Great Lakes Kubb, 1.3 Kubbs per baton blasting. Increased it a bit from the first game. 8 meters. Still, though, 33%. Not great. But when you give up the advantage line, these guys are going to take advantage. Ice Kubbs, solid showing all around. They should be very proud of themselves.
Plus they had a meatloaf.
Plus they had a meatloaf. Plus they had a nasty meatloaf, which, like I said, don't eat that stuff. So here we go. So Great Lakes Kubb advances, and in another match that was just going on right now, it looks like the Kubb Stashes were able to outlast Das Kubb in 3. Bob, I know that makes you happy.
Yeah, it definitely does. That's my team, so I'm a little biased on that one, but yeah, I'm glad they advanced.
So next week we're going to have the Kraken Kubb Squirrels matchup, and then also going on next week is the Kubb playing, but we will not be seeing that match. Kubb playing here for the beer. We don't have coverage of that match, but stick around next week. We'll have more Kubb action from the 2021 East Coast Kubb Championships. Bob, I think there's only one thing left to say. Bazooka.
Bazooka.
Later.